You finish a 4-hour study session. You close the book. You feel like a genius. 2 days later, your brain is a blank slate. Every fact you crammed, gone. And you're wondering if maybe you're just not smart enough for this. Here's the thing. Japanese high school students consistently outperform global peers on recall tests. We're talking PISA, OECD data, the whole deal, despite studying fewer total hours per week than you probably are right now. They're not pulling all-nighters. They're not using some fancy photographic memory gene you don't have. They're not even using complicated apps. What they do have is a system. They don't fight forgetting. They schedule it. And you can set up the exact same system tonight in under 10 minutes. So why does cramming harder always backfire? And what do Japanese classrooms know that your teachers never told you? Let's fix the method you've been using your whole life. First, let's get one thing straight. If facts vanish after you learned them, that's not laziness. That's not you being broken. That's biology. Back in the 1880s, a guy named Hermann Ebbinghaus mapped out what he called the forgetting curve. He found that we lose about 70% of new information within 24 hours, unless we do something very specific to interrupt that decay. And here's the kicker. Western schools reward input, hours logged, pages read, highlighters used. Japanese pedagogy? It rewards output, timed self-quizzing, forced recall. The difference isn't discipline, it's design. The secret isn't what you review, it's when. There's a specific rhythm, a pattern of timing that locks information into long-term storage. And that rhythm has a name. Once you see it, you'll never study the same way again. It's called the spacing skeleton. Here's how it works. Instead of rereading your notes 5 times in one sitting, you space out your retrieval attempts at exponentially widening intervals. For example, 1 hour after you first learned something, then 1 day later, then 3 days, then a week. Each time you retrieve the information, not just passively review it, you strengthen the neural pathway. Rereading creates shallow familiarity. Retrieval builds deep, durable memory. Think of it like a path through a forest. Reading your notes once is like walking that path one time. Spacing is like walking it again, just before the weeds start to grow back. Each time you do, the trail gets clearer, and it lasts way longer. This isn't pop psychology. Researchers Robert and Elizabeth Bjork call it desirable difficulty. Japanese cram schools, those Juku academies, have built this into every lesson with something called tsumikomi, or timed review blocks. Studies show students using spaced retrieval retain 2 to 3 times more than students who just reread or cram. 2 to 3 times. Same material, less total time. So let's break down exactly how to build your own spacing skeleton starting tonight. Step 1. The night of recall dump. Here's what you do today. Within 1 to 2 hours of finishing your study session, close all your materials. Grab a blank page or open a voice memo on your phone. Set a timer for 6 minutes. Now write or speak everything you remember. Bullet points, definitions, diagrams, whatever comes to mind. No peeking. Why does this work? Because retrieval effort creates stronger encoding than passive review. When you struggle to pull something out of memory, that struggle is a signal to your hippocampus, hey, this matters, store it better. It's not pretty, it's not supposed to be. And here's the best part, no special notebook, no perfect handwriting. Voice memos on your phone count. You already have everything you need. You've just locked in the first anchor. Now we're going to space the next one to catch your memory right before it fades. Step 2. The 24-hour mini quiz. Exactly 1 day later, same time if you can swing it, quiz yourself again. Same blank page method, 5 to 6 minutes. When you're done, then you can compare your recall to your original notes, not before. How do you make sure you actually do it? Schedule a phone reminder right now. Treat it like a meeting you can't skip. Here's why this interval matters. The 24-hour mark is the first critical save point on the forgetting curve. Catching that decay at exactly 24 hours can double your retention compared to doing nothing. Students who do a single 24-hour recall retain 60 to 80% of material a week later.
Rereaders, less than 30. 2 recalls down. The next interval is where things get locked into long-term storage. Step 3. The 3-day deep anchor. 3 days after your original session, do a third recall. This time, don't just write it down. Teach it. Explain the concept out loud to a friend, to your mirror, or record a 2-minute explainer video on your phone. This is the Feynman technique in action. When you try to explain something in simple language, every stumble reveals a gap. And teaching forces your brain to do 2 things at once: retrieve and reorganize. That engages your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that synthesizes ideas, not just recognizes them. Bonus tip, do this recall in a different room than where you studied, or go for a walk while you explain it. Environmental variety during retrieval strengthens what's called cue-independent memory. Basically, your brain stops tying the information to one specific place so you can access it anywhere, like on test day. One final recall locks it in for the long haul. Step 4. The 1-week lock-in. Schedule a 4th recall exactly 7 days from your first session. Blank page again. Or, if you want, use flashcard software like Anki or Quizlet, but set the intervals manually to match this rhythm. How do you make it stick? Calendar block it. Pair it with something you already do every week: Sunday coffee, Friday wrap-up, whatever. Habit stacking makes it automatic. By the 1-week mark, synaptic consolidation is almost complete. This recall cements the pathway into schemas, mental frameworks that you'll retain for months, not days. And here's the thing, you can set all 4 of these reminders right now in under 3 minutes. But what if your schedule is chaos? What if you hate timers? Let's handle the friction. But what if? I don't have time for 4 sessions. Compress it. Do night of, 3-day, and 1 week. 3 beats, 0 every time. I don't always remember to set reminders. Automate. Use Anki's built-in algorithm or set up recurring Google Calendar events with push notifications that won't let you ignore them. What if I have ADHD or serious sleep issues? Pair your recalls with body doubling, study Discord servers, Zoom co-working, an accountability partner. And if focus or sleep is clinical level, please talk to a professional. This system helps, but it's not a substitute for real support. Now, let me show you why this works so dramatically in the real world. In 2018, researchers compared Japanese Juku students to U.S. high schoolers preparing for similar exams. The Japanese group spent 30% less total time studying. 2 weeks later, on a delayed recall test, they scored 22% higher. The difference? Mandatory timed self-quizzing built into every single lesson. It wasn't optional, it was the system. It's not that they're smarter, it's that the system is smarter. And you just stole it. You're no longer grinding harder. You're engineering memory like the top 1% of learners. That's who you are now. So here's your move tonight. Spacing skeleton equals 4 timed recalls. Night of, 24-hour, 3-day, 1 week. That's it. Pick one thing you studied this week. Right now, before you close this video, schedule your night of recall for tonight. Set a 6-minute timer. Then, schedule your 24-hour quiz for tomorrow. Same time. Do it in your phone calendar. Literally pause and do it. When you've set both reminders, drop "done" in the comments. Let's build some real accountability here. And if you want the focus techniques Japanese cram schools use to make those 6 minutes razor sharp, no willpower required, I've got that video linked on screen next. Forgetting isn't failure, it's feedback. You just learned to design around it. Welcome to the top 1% who build systems, not study marathons. See you there.